What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the next episode of the Liverpool U23 career mode. It's been a long time since the last episode, and I'm super excited to get back into it. Now, guys, if you don't know, I do stream over on Twitch. My username is LA_15 or LA_15, and I normally stream mostly Ultimate Team, but as everyone knows, FIFA 20 Ultimate Team is pretty much dead at this point. So I've been streaming a lot of Fall Guys, a lot of other games just for fun, hanging out with viewers. So if you enjoy what I do here and want to check that out, go ahead and stop by my Twitch and drop a follow. And if you want the most up-to-date stream schedules, go ahead and follow me on Twitter, which is LA_GamingHD, the same as this YouTube channel. Now, guys, without further ado, let's get into the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Alright, guys, so getting into the gameplay, we have our first game of the episode is a friendly against Nottingham Forest. You can see me here just getting the squad set up, ready to go into this match. Now, I did simulate this game. I didn't feel like playing against Nottingham Forest, and we end up coming away with a 5-4 win on penalties. Rodrigo and David getting the goals in the game. We drew 2-2, ended up winning 5-4 on penalties, which it's a bit concerning that was that close, but we come away with the dub. That's all that matters. Next, you can see we sell Joel Matip for around £30 million, I believe. And again, just getting all of the players over the age of 23 off the books. We actually end up selling quite a few players this episode, so if you want to find out who we get off the books later, be sure to just stick around because there are some big names that go out the door today. Next up, guys, you can see that we go in and hire our first youth scout. That's right, we're going to start getting the youth team going, the actual youth, who some might be older than some of our starters. So realistically, I'm hoping to get a couple of players through this that have a lot of potential, the ability to grow really quickly, and players that can slot straight into at least our reserves that can just bulk out the squad and potentially throughout the course of the season grow into becoming first team players. Next up, guys, we are going to be playing our first real game of this episode. It's one of our first games of the Premier League season. I believe it's our fourth game, and it's against Burnley, which realistically shouldn't be too much of a challenge, but as you guys will see, it ended up being a really, really difficult game. So stick around to see what happens next because I was shocked. Alright, guys, getting into the beginning of the game, we come up with a very early goal with Tonali getting the ball into Grujic. Grujic passing into Havertz. Havertz sees Jones running into the box, and Jones neatly slots that home at the near post. Smooth sailing, guys, super early in the game. Believe this was from kickoff, or at least in the first 10 minutes of the game. So I was sitting there thinking, I got this in the bag. Easy game, easy goal. We're good to go. A couple minutes later, guys, Justin Kluivert running down the left wing sees Jones and thinks maybe he can get the volley off, but unfortunately it gets blocked. Ball goes back into the box for Havertz, who unfortunately can't quite get the header off, but we keep going and we see what happens next. Now Burnley are attacking us. Van Berg makes a good tackle. Trent makes another good tackle, but as always seems to be the case, good tackles mean nothing in FIFA 20, and somehow they managed to score a goal, bringing it back to 1-1. Alright, guys, into the second half now, and Burnley are counter-attacking us. They play a through ball past pretty much all of our defenders, and just really sloppy defending on my part. I have to own up for that, but we see ourselves go 2-1 down after a really great start. I make a couple of substitutions and go pretty much all-out attack for the next 30 minutes of the game. Harry Wilson makes a good run here, gets the ball into Havertz. Havertz turns and tries to play back to Wilson, but the ball is intercepted, and that's pretty much the story of the rest of this half. We got a lot of good attacks going in the second half, but anytime we got too close to their third, they just intercepted. Our players couldn't dribble, couldn't run fast enough, we were tired, and just really couldn't get anything going against this Burnley team. In one of the most heartbreaking clips of this entire game, in the 88th minute on the edge of the box, Ajera sees Havertz, who sees David. David takes the shot near post, which always goes in, but unfortunately he hits the post, and hitting the post becomes quite a theme in this episode, as you'll see in the next match, and it's pretty brutal, but unfortunately we come away with the loss there, and we just got to keep moving, keep grinding out points, and hopefully we can come back. We're still in the top half of the table, and we still have a shot this early in the season to come back and push for the Premier League title. Alright guys, now we are in the last 10 hours of the transfer window, and really, we don't make any moves. I was just sitting there watching offers come in. I looked at a couple players. I looked at Odsonne Edouard, I looked at Adama Traore, I looked at Alain Saint-Maximin, and nothing was really feeling right with the moves. Saint-Maximin was out on loan, Adama would have been too expensive, and so we don't make any moves on the last day of the transfer window. I just sat there and pretty much just accepted a bunch of offers for our big players. So as you just saw there, Virgil van Dijk going to Bayern Munich for £107 million. Huge transfer. It would probably break the world in real life, but here we're just getting another expensive player that we can't play off the books, and that's a dub in my book, so we keep moving. Next up guys, we are getting our next scout, picking up our second scout. I'm spacing them out a little bit so that we can try to get one scout report every week instead of getting them all at once. And now we go for a Russian scout. We're going to send him to Egypt, and I think he'll be able to find a lot of talent there. Maybe find the next Mohamed Salah, you never know. So that's kind of what I was thinking with this, and we move into our next game, guys. Alright, so as you can see, we do a little bit of training during the international break, training up some of our youngsters, just trying to get them back up to scratch for the season. And next we go into our game against Newcastle. So before we go into the game against Newcastle, I decided to make a pretty big change, and that's to change to the 4-4-2. I don't know what it was, but classic Liverpool 4-3-3 with the false 9 wasn't really doing it for me, and I decided to switch it up, maybe just to see if we can get the best out of some of our players, because really Liverpool's formation is tailored to the players that they had, but pretty much none of those players are still here, so we're going to have to tinker with it a little bit and get creative and try to find a system that works for the players that we have, because when we're losing to teams like Burnley, you know that something has to change. Alright guys, so here we are getting into the game against Newcastle. This is one of our former players' team now. Origi is playing here at Newcastle, and as you'll be able to see, he performs very well for them. Now in just the 3rd minute, Origi gets in behind and manages to score, which is super unfortunate. Just like last game where we scored at the very beginning, now we've conceded at the very beginning, and we have a huge uphill battle now against this very defensive Newcastle United team trying to get the dub, but you'll see what happens. Alright guys, here we have Rodrigo running in behind. He gets the ball to Havertz. Havertz takes the shot, but Havertz can't quite get the ball in the back of the net. Now we have Tonali who plays the ball into Havertz. Havertz through to Rodrigo, and Rodrigo blasts that far post. No curve at all, just straight power past the keeper. Manages to get a beautiful goal for us, bringing the score back to 1-1 in the 10th minute. Love to see it. Didn't have to stay behind for too long. So let's get into the rest of the clips. Here we have Rodrigo again down the right wing with a beautiful rainbow over his defender. So much space that he's running into. Thinks about taking the shot again, lays it off to Havertz, and Havertz hits the post. The post, as I said, constant theme in this episode. You absolutely hate to see it. Jonathan David, again, trying to make something happen, but can't quite do it. You guys, how heartbreaking was that Havertz shot? Now Havertz again sees Rodrigo doing so much damage down the right wing, as usual. This time, not passing to anyone, but he hits the post again. 3rd time hitting the post in 2 games. Now again, Kluivert bursting down the left wing. So many spaces in past their fullbacks this game. Again, the ball to Rodrigo. Rodrigo, unfortunately, misses out. But you can see, guys, we're creating a lot of chances. Now, here we have Jonathan David getting the ball into Curtis Jones. Back to David. David takes the shot near post, and it is saved, unfortunately. We're into the latter stages of the second half here, guys, with our 4-4-2 formation. Taking a corner, gets thrown out. Nice bike there, but can't quite get the ball in the back of the net. Now here we have Newcastle making a dangerous attack, and you know anytime I show a clip of the opposition team that something bad is about to happen. Great tackle there by Trent, but the ball falls back to their striker, and unfortunately they slot it home. Now we just have a couple of minutes to try to scrape something out of this game. I brought on Harry Wilson, trying to make something happen, a little bit of creativity in the midfield, but he takes the shot near post, can't quite get it in. Takes a corner short, Blasts the ball over to Harry Wilson, who takes the near post shot yet again, but fortunately can't get it in, and that is unfortunately all we had time for in this game. So another 2-1 loss to a pretty mid-table team, and it really hurts, really stings, but we move on to the next things, hopefully getting better each time we take a loss. We're going in now for our third scout, and I'm sending him to my home country of Spain, trying to get some classic Spanish midfielders, maybe some David Villa type forwards, and just great things coming out of Spain. So now we move into our final game of the episode, and it's our first Champions League game of the season against RB Salzburg, which ordinarily I'd have so much confidence going into, but after taking 2 L's to teams that are arguably better than Salzburg, I am not feeling very confident in this game. We're going into this game with our 4-4-2 formation still. I'm still giving it a bit of a run, and if it's not working out, then we'll just adapt again and find something that works for us. Alright guys, so here we go straight from kickoff, getting the ball out to Trent. I brought on the big guns for this game, so Trent and Gomez are both starting. We got Havertz, we got Wilson, we got Rodrigo, and Wilson sees Ajera in the middle of the park. Ajera gets Tonali. Tonali gets it back to Ajera, who gives it to David, who takes the shot near post and finally gets the goal. You love to score goals early in the game, and just a couple minutes later, Wilson on the edge of the box takes a beautiful finesse, top bins past the keeper. That's why you bring on Harry Wilson, for those left-footed curlers, scores them for days. Absolutely gorgeous goal, and we go 2-0 up. The first time we've scored 2 goals this episode. Hopefully we can get a couple more before the game is over. Now we're going into the second half. Kai Havertz sees Ajera in the midfield. Ajera sees Rodrigo making the run on to the edge of the box. Rodrigo hits Ajera again, and Ajera hits it near post, and Ajera scores the goal. Sorry, I stumbled over my words there because so much was going on, but beautiful, beautiful goal. Now, again, with another fantastic attack, Rodrigo in the midfield sees Ajera with the overlap. Rodrigo back into Havertz, Havertz into David, and David at the near post once again smashes it past the keeper, and we go 4-0 up. And at this point, the floodgates are well and truly opened. Just a couple minutes later, Lewis hits Havertz, who drops deep into midfield, playing that center forward role as always. David in a little bit in front of him. David gets it back to Havertz, Havertz to Ajera, Ajera to Tonali, who's making a run, and Ajera slots that underneath the goalkeeper for his second goal of the game. Ajera comes on as a sub and performs beautifully. Now again, David in the midfield finds Havertz making a run. Havertz does a bit of a ball roll but loses the ball, gets it to Jones. Jones sees Havertz going in behind, and Havertz at the near post as usual. This goalkeeper is not having a good day, and in the 87th minute we make it 6-0. Now, you could argue that we're being just cruel at this point, but after 2 losses earlier in the episode, I just wanted to get goals on the score sheet and really just pat stats, if nothing else. Just get those goals and assists up there so that these players can grow, so that we can perform better in the rest of the season. Now guys, that is going to pretty much do it for this episode. We sold Mane as well to, I think, Barcelona, so again, just getting more players off the books. But our next game is against Chelsea, which is going to be our first real big test of the Premier League season. Super, super tough game against a very good team, especially with the restrictions we have in our squad. They are just miles ahead of us in terms of quality, but will we be able to outplay them if we can't out-team them? Come back later for the next episode to find out. And again, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to drop a like and a comment and subscribe. It does so much good for me. You don't understand. It really means the world and helps me get embedded into the YouTube algorithm. As always, you can also check me out on Twitch. There'll be a link down below, as well as you can just search me up at LA_15. Now guys, I hope you're having a great day, and God bless you all.